This video is about an exploit with CSGO skins, an exploit that's causing thousands of scams each year. Now, you might be thinking it's some kind of sophisticated hack or high-tech method of getting your skins, but it's not. It's actually something very simple and obvious, but unfortunately, because of the way skins work, very, very effective. So I want to draw some attention to it. Now, this video is sponsored by Skinport, the easy-to-use skins marketplace where you can sell your skins for real cash. Skinport has a huge range of skins, over 220,000 of them at prices miles cheaper than the Steam market, up to 35% off. You can purchase skins in an instant, just pick what you want and straight up buy it. There is no need to deposit and there are no hidden fees. There's also a high-definition screenshot feature built into the site itself so you can see exactly what you're getting before you buy. The site is also super highly rated on Trustpilot with a 4.9 out of 5-star rating. It is completely safe and reliable to use, so I highly recommend checking it out. Link is in the description. So this video revolves around cash trading. Now, I recently started doing cash trading. I quit my day job and took it up. Part of the reason I wanted to do it was that it keeps you more in touch with the thing you're making content on, and that was actually a real struggle for me while I was working a 9-to-5 job because you had this extra job you had to worry about. But now that I was freshly unemployed, that wasn't a problem anymore, and once people stopped thinking I was hacked, it was off to the races. But as I started doing these trades, I quickly noticed a recurring theme. For example, during October, I was approached by a high school student with a butterfly ruby he'd unboxed. Now, a butterfly ruby is a very valuable knife, particularly if you're in high school. You can do a lot with that, and luckily, it's also the sort of skin traders love to buy. Now, on the Chinese marketplace Buff163, it was worth $6,400 at the time, so I offered him my standard cash rate, which was 90% of the buff price, $5,760. We agreed on that price. I gave him my trade link and asked for payment details. He said he'd do it when he was back from school, and then he went silent. Now, getting ghosted is pretty common when you're doing a cash trade. Someone will change their mind at the last minute, but they don't want to have to go back and tell you no, because it's, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and so they just go silent, which is understandable. And I don't really think about it that much when it happens, because it just does sometimes. But 10 days later, I got another message from him. It turned out he'd been scammed and was understandably pretty upset about it. Now, he was hoping I could try and scam the scammer for him. I wasn't going to do that. Scamming a scammer is still scamming. You will get Steam Rep banned. It'll be a permanent stain on your reputation. No one will ever trust you again. And by the way, that scammer is going to run around claiming he bought it legit. But the thing that quickly started to worry me was that stories like these weren't unusual. They were common. I was coming across a lot of them. I'd make a deal with someone, they'd go quiet for a bit, and then they'd come back and tell me they got scammed. And I knew from talking to other traders that they see this a lot too. And almost every single time, there was a common thread tying these scams together: the price the scammers were offering. This is another example. Somebody approached me for a price check on their Desert Hydra. I told him its current price, and a week later he messaged me about an offer he'd gotten. Now, the moment I checked that price, I knew it was a scam, but by that point, it was already too late. And these prices that the scammers are offering are central to their scams. It is how they get people, but at the same time, it also gives them away. If you know what the skin is worth, most of the time you'll instantly know whether or not you're dealing with a scammer just based on the price they offer. The only problem is, how do you know what your skin is actually worth if you're selling to a cash trader? Well, that's the exploit. Most people don't know, not because they're dumb, but because it's confusing. And I'm going to explain what scammers are doing to get people here. So, generally speaking, scammers pretend to be cash traders. Why? Because they're targeting people who are trying to sell their skins for cash. But what do cash traders actually do? Because the truth is, cash trading probably isn't what you think it is. When most people think of CSGO traders, they think of collectors buying and selling rare and exotic skins. But that's the exact opposite of what a cash trader does. So, what are they doing? Well, let's go back to the guy who wants cash for his skins. He could sell on a cash out site, like for example Skinport, the easy to use marketplace where you can, okay, yeah, you get it. And if he's patient, he should get a pretty good price for the skin, maybe about 25% less than its value on the Steam market. But this will take time, probably a week or two, and that's fine if you've got a week or two, but what if you've got, say, an urgent bill to pay and you need to sell your skins fast? Well, that is what a cash trader is for. They're not trading skins, they're offering an instant cash out service. That's why cash trading exists. But because it's an instant cash out, you don't get the same price. Cash traders take a margin on the skin, and this is where things get confusing, because the prices that cash traders use don't come from the Steam market or from any trading site or from any cash out site. They're actually derived from a site called Buff163. Now, Buff163 is a Chinese marketplace, and although the majority of CSGO players have probably never heard of it, it actually dominates the market when it comes to extremely high-end skins. Now, there is a big catch with this site. If you're not from China, it is quite difficult to deposit and withdraw from the site, which is why even now it doesn't really have mainstream usage outside of China. But China really like skins, particularly if they're expensive, and the result is that Buff sees more high-end skins sold than pretty much every other marketplace combined, which means it's the best way to figure out the value of rare and expensive skins. Every cash trader starts off using Buff to price things. Once they have the Buff price, they apply a discount to it, and this discount is essentially their margin on the trade. Generally, it varies between 85% and 92%. Now, just because someone is taking 85% does not mean they're ripping people off. In fact, in my experience, people who take rates like that are much more willing to accept rare and exotic patterns that are hard to sell and overpay better for things like floats. But either way, they're going to be buying at some kind of discount from Buff prices because there's no point in doing it otherwise. Cash trading is time consuming and cash trading is risky too. When you do it, you're committing a lot of capital to something that's pretty high risk, and if there's no margin in it, no one is going to do it. But this whole dynamic is also something scammers can exploit massively. So let's say someone is trying to sell a standard factory new M9 freehand. It's a nice skin. I mean, I picked it because I own one and can inspect it nice and easily, but it's still a nice skin. And this skin is worth $237 on Buff. Pretty good. But let's say you come across a cash trader who pays 92% Buff for it. So he offers them $218. Now, that is pretty much the best cash price you're possibly going to get. In fact, I think you'd be fairly lucky to even get an offer that good in the first place. But let's say a scammer then approaches the guy with the M9 freehand and offers him $245 for it. Now, any cash trader is going to know the moment they see that price that you're dealing with a scammer. Why? Because you cannot make a profit buying at that price. You just can't. No one is going to buy a skin for a loss. Only a scammer is going to offer you that price. But the average CSGO player isn't going to realize this. I mean, the knife is over $300 on the Steam market anyway. To any normal person who isn't living in CSGO skins land, $245 seems like a completely reasonable price, and they're probably going to take it. This is the exploit scammers are using. They can come in and offer a price better than any cash trader ever will, and because of the confusion surrounding what a skin is actually worth, it is really easy to fall for. So what's the best way to avoid this? Well, the best solution is this. If someone offers you a price in cash that's either as good as the price for skins on Buff163 or better, don't trade with them. They are not worth the risk. Traders don't buy skins at a loss. They wouldn't be traders if they were doing that. And if there isn't a margin for them in the deal they're offering you, chances are they're probably not going to be keeping their end of it. Now, to wrap up the video, I want to add that cash trading is a pretty good thing in a lot of respects. One of the things I've found while I've been doing it is you come across people who are in bad financial situations, and when you buy their skins, you really do help them. You can make a big difference in someone's life like that. But at the same time, some of these people also end up getting scammed. In fact, because they're so desperate, they're often particularly at risk of getting scammed, and the impact of that can literally be life-ruining sometimes. It's gone a long way beyond just being a video game at this point, and some of the best things about it are also the source of some of its biggest problems. At the end of the day, the only reliable way to protect yourself is you. If you have valuable skins, it is worth taking the time to learn about them, because that information could save you a lot in the future. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Massively appreciated. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.